everybody, and welcome to episode 52 of the HooperCast. I'm Hooper, and this is my cast. Hello, Dawson.
Hello, Hooper.
How are you?
I'm quite well.
I forgot to mention the date. It is also Friday, February 28th, 2014.
Is this the last day of February?
It is the last day of February. So
how about that?
When the listeners are listening to this, it'll be March, but it won't be...
Happy March.
Happy March, everybody. From the future. Or the past,
yeah,
I guess.
From the past.
The past, yeah. We, Dustin and I took some time out of our busy schedules to try and continue to bring our quality content known as the HooperCast, the most popular podcast on Al Jazeera. And,
it's true.
And hopefully America as well.
Hopefully. We try.
Hopefully on the, we aim to be the most popular podcast on the internet. In the next, what do you want to say, Dustin? 3 years?
Sure, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Let's set a timetable.
Real quick,
3 years.
Just to take a little bit of time, I developed a theory. What?
Okay. Hooper, he froze. Oh, no.
Okay, your Skype cut out, so all I heard was, let's let
yours cut out too.
Okay. You sounded like a nasally Jabba the Hutt.
Unta.
You were like,
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. All right.
Have you seen the trailer for A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No.
He does the same joke in that.
Should I pull it up?
If you want to. It's funny.
All right. Yeah, he does the same joke, the Jabba the Hutt joke?
Well, he's speaking to he's like around a campfire with a bunch of Native Americans, and they're all you know what? Just watch it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna ruin the punchline of the joke. Just watch it.
All right, am I doing the Red Band trailer?
Yes.
All right, I'll do the Red Band trailer.
Yes, too.
All right. Play, you stupid idiot.
Oh, hey, look, it's the ice. Why is it so big?
So it doesn't melt. But it's actually really interesting how they do it. It's this one company out in Boston that... That went south so fast! The American West is a terrible place in time. Everything out here that's not you wants to kill you. Angry drunk people, hungry animals, outlaws. Oh, the fucking doctor. I couldn't say it. She had a splinter. Doc, what the hell were you supposed to do?
I would like to welcome a new member to our community.
Welcome to our awesome town.
What's with this beer?
Every year, people...
Oh, damn it, YouTube. Okay, well, while this is loading, I'd like to comment on what I've seen so far.
Okay.
Well, I like it so far. It's sort of like what Your Highness did, except funnier.
Yeah, except actually funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn off your video, Dustin. Maybe that'll help Skype a little bit.
I was gonna say your Skype is going crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's not gonna load anymore. I don't know what's wrong.
Hooper, you know what this episode should be called? We should call this episode Technical Difficulties.
What?
We should call this episode Technical Difficulties.
Yeah, for real. I don't know what's up with your microphone and our internet and this stupid first-generation iPad my dad gave me. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Maybe.
All right, well, screw this trailer. The point is, I'm amused, and I want to see it. So
yes,
good job, trailer. Well, well, that looks cool to me.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's just keep moving forward then.
Okay. We've
both seen, it's been a few weeks since we last podcasted.
Yeah.
So, I guess we should go over, we both watched a lot of television, so perhaps we should cover that. What have you seen, Dustin?
Well, I haven't finished it, either of these two series, but I am a good ways in to Friday Night Lights.
Uh-huh.
and then also to House of Cards. Now, House of Cards just started just premiered its whole second season on Netflix. I didn't watch the first season when it came out, so I'm kind of playing catch up a little bit. I think I'm like 9 episodes into the first season. I think there's 13, so I'm not too far behind. And then Friday Night Lights, it ran from 2006 to 2011, and I'm probably about 10 episodes into the first season, so I've got a ways to go yet on that. But I'm enjoying both of them for different reasons. Friday Night Lights is kind of like at its core, it's a teen drama. It's like One Tree Hill or whatever, any number of those CW shows. But at the same time, it has some great characters and some good football action. So it's entertaining, and it is a little frustrating trying to get past the teen elements of it. Like, how many times can we have our characters kiss each other in the rain, and how many times can they swap partners and whatever. So it's just like really, and how many secrets can they keep from each other, and you know what I mean? It's one of those kind of shows. But it's led by Kyle Chandler, who's really good and kind of has like this adult presence that a lot of those kind of shows don't have. So that's sort of the redeeming factor there. And then of course House of Cards is a political drama, which I wasn't sure that I'd like at all. And honestly, I'm still not sure why I keep watching. I don't know if it's because I'm expecting something or because there's just some element of it that I like. But, obviously it's got great performances by Kevin Spacey, Kate Mara, and Robin Wright Penn, or Robin Wright. I don't know what to say now. and Jenny from Forrest Gump, that one. And anyway, some great performances from them, some great direction, some great writing. And actually, Joel Schumacher directed a couple episodes.
What?
Which I thought was really strange that this, critically acclaimed show was directed by Joel Schumacher for 2 episodes of season 1. I don't even know. Maybe he came back for season 2. Who knows? But 2 episodes of the first season. So keep in mind, another 2 episodes were directed by David Fincher. So putting those 2 in the same sentence is really strange.
Yeah, it is.
But it's definitely entertaining, and it's not really fun to watch because it just reminds you how corrupt our system is, and how everything is bought and done without the people's knowledge. And it's really kind of frustrating to watch and be like kind of in on the corruption. And
oh, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, hang on, Dustin.
Okay, cool. No, you're good. Do you want me to stop recording? I'm just going to keep rolling.
Listeners, pardon the sound of my daughter just snorting and rooting around for milk, but she wanted to be on the podcast too, so, oh well.
She did. She has every right. It's her destiny.
Which were you talking about, Friday Night Lights or House of Cards? I'm sorry.
I was finishing up House of Cards.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, it's just it is a really good show to watch, and I can't quite pinpoint why, other than the fact that it seems like everyone cares.
Yeah.
And everyone that's making it. Like, if I look at Breaking Bad and say, why do I watch it? Or The Sopranos, or Parks and Recreation, or, even Seinfeld, and I say, why do I watch it? I can pinpoint these reasons. But House of Cards is different, and I guess the only reason I keep watching is because they're putting effort into it. And you can tell. And so, for that reason, I feel like I'm not going to be betrayed, maybe. And but it is a good show, and I see that you've seen a few shows as well, so I'm eager to hear your opinions on those.
Well, I've been watching 2 shows that I've been really into, and 2 shows that I'm sort of falling away from. Okay. I've been watching True Detective on HBO.
That's I hear really good things.
That's that miniseries with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and it's pretty much about these 2 detectives and. Back in the mid early 90s in Louisiana, and they're working like this weird ritualistic murder case and stuff, and Woody Harrelson's like a family man, But Matthew McConaughey is killing it. He is knocking it out of the park in this show. It's his best work I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's just like this nihilistic, dry, buzzkill of a human being to be around. Just you'd be driving in a car, and then you'd be like, yeah, the birds, the sky sure is nice. Outside it's a nice day, and he'd just be like, we only ascribe beauty to these things to distract from the inevitability of our own demise. And you're just kind of like, Jesus, man.
Right.
It's just. But I'm 4 episodes in. I think there's probably 6 by the time this airs. But the 4th one, the one I just saw, there was this amazing tracking shot in it.
I was going to ask you about that because I did watch the tracking shot. Yeah.
It's
beautiful.
So yeah, it was
6 minutes.
Yeah, incredible. Like in and outdoors, like tons of like fight scenes happening during it. Gunshots.
Over a fence.
Yeah, over a fence. Yeah, like the whole time I was just thinking. I was. It reminded me of those case studies we do in film class, and you just. I would have submitted that had the show been on while we were in college.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless, the show itself is shot really well. It's written, acted really well. I'm kind of not. I know. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can't disagree. So I'm kind of a little off put by Woody Harrelson's weird little butthole mouth thing he does. Like he just like purses. He's just like, we're gonna get the victims and it's but
yes.
It's still a good show, and I think it's just 8 total episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to finishing it, and I think that I think we should have more of these on. I mean, obviously we can have them through HBO and stuff, but everything I've seen on HBO like this is always worth it, and so I think that other providers should take a hint and do more, short form, serialized shows.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a dying kind of art form because the miniseries used to be there used to be at least 1 or 2 good miniseries a year.
Yeah.
And there's really not that anymore. And I think it's because they just want something that'll continually bring money.
Yeah.
Rather than something that'll bring money once and then once again on DVD. Like that's it. So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's kind of a failure of the networks.
It's just nice to see people who care about putting out, good content. It's
regardless of its form. Yeah,
right. The other thing I've been watching that I've been enjoying is I powered through the 2nd season of The Shield on Amazon Prime, and that's also a good show. That's it's obviously it's a little older and it's off the air. It's been off the air for years, but. Another good anti-hero show, and just continuing my, my general thumbs-upmanship of that show. I'm just enjoying watching Michael Chiklis work and continuing to question why he did the Fantastic Four movies when he had such great things happening for him.
Right.
And it's just really, really good show.
Speaking of The Shield, I saw on Best Buy's website that they were offering a deal on the complete series, like the complete series for $25.
Yeah.
And but basically Best Buy screws over people because what they do is they say like, okay, here's a show, and we're going to put it on for the steep discount, but you can't order it online. You have to go to the store and get it. So by the time you find out about the thing, it's gone, like it's sold out. And because they only have like maybe 2 copies per store, and if you're lucky, you'll get the complete series for $25. Otherwise, you're like me, and you're like, dang it, I missed it. I hate Best Buy when they do that.
Oh God, can you hear this?
I can.
Can you hear the squirting noises?
I can.
My God.
Yes.
Oh my God, it smells so bad in here, Dustin. All of a sudden. All right. Well, the other two the other 2 shows I've been watching are Eastbound and Down on HBO also, and Sons of Anarchy also on FX.
Okay.
So I've gotten to the 6th season of Sons of Anarchy, and that show, I've just been kind of watching it to see what happens. I'm not really invested in the characters anymore. After a while, like, that show, there's so many lines in that show where it's just like, I don't know if Charlie Hunnam's just not a good actor, like, progressively worse through the show, or it's bad writing. Like, the show itself, like, overall, it's like, this is, good production design. You sold me on this world, of this, this biker gang in this small town community. But, like, Charlie Hunnam growls all of his lines. The Galindo cartel, they're not gonna, and his accent is flaking more and more. I like him, but I don't know. And just everyone in that show, every single line is like tough guy talk or tough bitch talk. And it's like, I'm not really identify with Jax Teller, the main character, but only to a certain point. But when you spend the whole 4th season trying to get out, and then the end of the 4th season, it's like you can't get out, and then you spend the whole 5th season like, okay, so now I'm doing this. Now it's the 6th season, and it's like, what are we doing? So I know the 7th season is gonna be the last one. I've sort of stalled toward the beginning of the 6th season, simply because I just haven't really cared to keep up with it.
Sure.
And I'll finish the show just as a chore so I can judge it, because I'm most of the way through it, So I may as well finish it, but I don't know. Yeah. And the other thing is Eastbound and Down, which we all watched the first season together in college, and maybe it's just not as funny watching it by myself. But I mean, I guess it's fun to watch Danny McBride be an asshole to people in a group of people. You can't really sit by yourself and go, "Oh, this is great."
Well, see, I'll tell you this: in college, I think I was the one who liked it least.
Yeah. Like, it's fun. I think it was fun for us to watch together, but as a show by itself, I mean, after a while, you're just watching a guy just be oblivious to people and be rude to people, and it's like, after a while, it stops being funny. See,
I find that Danny McBride is an acquired taste, and I have not acquired it yet. So whenever he's in This Is the End or whatever, it's like, just please get off of the screen.
Just hurry up and say your lines and leave.
Yeah, just leave, please. And same with Your Highness. I saw that because all of you guys were seeing that, and
I
through that whole movie, I was like, oh my god, shut up.
Yeah, it was fun to quote it to each other afterwards, but it's almost like those things are more fun to quote to your friends than they are to actually watch.
Yeah, true. This is true.
And I've seen no arc for Kenny Power. And look, I'm not expecting,
Shakespeare,
King Lear out of, Danny McBride, but it's after.
I don't think anybody's expecting that at this point.
After 3 seasons where you haven't really made any sort of character arc, I don't know. It's just whatever. But anyway, let's move on to movies.
Okay.
You've seen a couple recently.
I have.
What's your
all right, so I rented Rush from Redbox recently.
Oh.
And did you ever see Rush, Hooper?
I did. I haven't seen Rush. I hear good things.
It is a good movie. It's a weird movie though. It has dual protagonists.
Okay.
So the movie is really about the rivalry between these two Formula One drivers. One of them is played by Chris Hemsworth, and the other one is played by a guy named Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah,
and I'm really not familiar with him, but Chris Hemsworth plays James Hunt, and Daniel Bruhl plays Niki Lauda. And they, so it's about their rivalry, but you kind of have this split because we spend half of our time with Chris Hemsworth and the other half with Daniel Bruhl, and we're watching them both pursue this career in Formula One and how their careers affect each other. Mm-hmm. And so it's a weird movie because, if you go in expecting, this formulaic, 3-act structure, it's there, but it's different because we've got two protagonists at the same time. So it is an interesting movie to watch. I don't think it's one of Ron Howard's best I think a lot of people were saying that it was. I don't find that, but I did think it was a really good movie and has some really good performances. And if you know anything about the Hunt-Lauda rivalry, which I knew very little about that going in, you know what? You don't have to know that. You don't have to know anything, and it's probably better if you don't. But going in, I kind of knew where James Hunt's story goes, and so maybe that ruined it a little bit for me. But if you go in dry, if you go in completely, not knowing anything, I think you'll get caught up in the story and have a good time with it. Right. The second one I watched was Prisoners, which was actually shot here in Georgia, and stars Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, and a bunch of other people as well. Like Melissa Leo's in it, Paul Dano, Viola Davis, Terrence Howard. I mean, it's a big movie, and basically, for those of you who don't know, the story is about Hugh Jackman and Terrence Howard's daughters being kidnapped, and so it's sort of one of those stories like how far would you go to save your daughter kind of deals, and it's not like Taken, which is sort of what I was afraid of. Like, okay, this is just going to be Hugh Jackman's Taken, but it's not at all, and it is a really good. It has a good question, which is, how far would you go? How would you sell your soul to save your daughter and to save your child? And I think it's a really, really good story, and it actually says something, which is nice, I think. And there's a few good twists along the way, and it's a really entertaining movie, and except for the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal plays a guy named Detective Loki.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that takes me out of it, because nobody's named Loki.
Yeah.
It's just really weird. And so except for that small thing,
it's distracting though.
Yeah, that's a little distracting. But except for that, it is a really good movie, and I enjoyed it a lot. I liked it better than Rush, and actually I think Prisoners would have been one of my top 10 movies from last year. Huh. It's a really good movie. Roger Deakins, is that his name? The cinematographer? Yeah, he does the cinematography for this, and it's beautiful. I mean, everything he does is beautiful, but this is, like, I think probably the best looking movie from last year. Just such a good tone to the film, and this, I don't know. I'm not even going to go into it, but it's a great movie for DPs to look at.
Good.
So yeah. And Hooper, I think you would like this movie.
Okay. I've always rented it a few times. I just
I know you like Hugh Jackman.
I do.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, and I don't really like Jake Gyllenhaal, but I think you do.
Yeah.
Because you like Zodiac.
Yeah, I do like Zodiac.
I like Zodiac,
I could
too.
go either way on Jake Gyllenhaal. He's hit and miss lately, but
yeah.
But Zodiac was where I sort of decided, like, I got some love for this guy.
Yeah, I like Zodiac. I think that's sort of like the exception, though.
Yeah,
like,
I hear you.
You know what I mean? So, but I do think he was good in this, and maybe to an extent he was trying to recapture some of Zodiac.
It's kind of like how I like Ray, but I don't like Jamie Foxx.
Right. Yeah. True. No. Yeah. That's a good analogy there. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie, and I do think you would like it. And also, just a side note, Hugh Jackman's character is named Keller Dover, which is a whole lot like Kellen Stover.
Oh my God!
And I think I texted Kellen and was like, Hugh Jackman's making a movie. This was like way back when it was being filmed in Georgia. I was like applying to work on it or whatever.
Oh my God!
And I got like this little synopsis of it, and I was like, oh my God, Hugh Jackman's making a movie and he's playing Keller Dover.
Keller Dover.
And Kellen never texted me back, so I don't know what he thinks about that.
Probably too frightened.
Yeah, he was probably like, oh no.
Oh God.
So there you go.
Wow.
So what have you seen?
I've seen a few things, and all of them I have brief thoughts on. None of them really. I'm actually going to go backwards from what the Google Doc. I saw Fast 6. I had higher hopes for this. I know, shocking. I don't know why I said that like I was being sarcastic. It is shocking because
yes.
I did like Fast 5 a lot, actually. It just, like I said, when the Fast and Furious movies decided to become self-aware, okay, if you're gonna, you take the pacifier out, and then you're like, where's the pacifier? It's like, well, I didn't take it out. All right, so Fast 6 is, it's got the whole cast back, and it's a little weird and ominous to see Paul Walker because, he's dead now, right. And driving so much because that's how he died.
Right.
But it was okay, I guess. It was not as good as Fast 5. It wasn't terrible. It was fun, I guess, but not as minute-to-minute fun as Fast 5 was. So I'm still with the series, just on a rental basis, like now.
I gotcha. Well, let me ask you a question before we get off Fast 6.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the Fast movies at all.
Uh-huh.
None of them. Is it worth jumping in at this point, watching all of them? Because for so long they sort of exemplified what was wrong with the industry.
Yeah. I think since they've created this big, continuity with it now, now it's kind of worth it.
Okay.
But go to the library and rent it, and do it when you have nothing else. Don't feel like you have to rush to do it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy them, but again, it's just watch them. You won't be disappointed if you keep your expectations low. Yeah. Then I saw the new Evil Dead movie.
Okay.
And I've seen the original Evil Dead, and I prefer this one just because it's less boring. But it's it's a remake of the Sam Raimi version, but him and Bruce Campbell were producers, so they kind of had their blessing. Sure. The stock friends, go out into the woods to the cabin, but it's to help their friend kick heroin.
Okay.
This is about the time where I don't know what I'm supposed to do because she's eaten enough. She's been burped. She has a pacifier. The only thing I can think of is maybe you're cold. And then, of course, someone opens the Necronomicon and says, the words, and like an idiot, even though the book is covered in, warnings, hey, don't open this. And the guy's like, I'm going to keep reading it. And it's, etched in blood, don't touch this, don't say the words out loud. And he's, reading the words out loud. And he doesn't look like he has a sick fascination with it. But he's got, it's more just I'm bored, I'm going to read everything out loud and not just in my head, If I found a book in their creepy basement, which is where they found it, which smelled like dead people, because at the beginning of the movie they burn a chick in there. It's and you find a book that has
Hooper, what do dead people smell like? Do you know that smell?
I don't know. I just know it smells bad. Oh my god, bacon button. Let's hit the bacon button. Alright, there we go. Now have this. Take this. Oh god, please let me finish the show, sweetie. Okay. Anyway, so demon shows up, rapes the girl, and then now she has a demon, and it's infecting everyone else, and there's lots of gore. Not as awesome as everyone says. Pretty gnarly though, I'll have to say.
Yeah.
That's the word I had to describe it. If you like horror, you'll like it. I wasn't scared by it.
Sure.
Which is why I watched it. I knew it wouldn't be unsettling. So, thumbs up, but overall just kind of meh.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched a couple of DC animated movies. One of them was All-Star Superman. And basically in this one, Superman's exposed. He's exposed too heavily to the sun, and so he's 3 times as powerful, but he's gonna burn out and die or something.
Yeah.
And it's just it's kind of just a little adventure. And then I don't want to talk too much about the plot because it's not really that important. Those are always fun. I kind of wish that I prefer Tim Daly, to voice Superman all the time. So when it's not him, it's just kind of weird.
It's weird. Same with Batman. When it's not Kevin Conroy, it's weird.
Yeah. There was one time where it was Bruce Greenwood, and I was like, okay, I guess, but that's still
Bruce
not Kevin
Greenwood
Conroy.
has come closest.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
The other one was Justice League Doom. I watched it for the third time. I like that movie. It's quintessential to all the characters. It's it's just a great little story. Basically, Justice League gets attacked and incapacitated in all sorts of ways that threaten their lives, and it's pretty much revealed that it's a melody on Batman's own contingency plans for the Justice League. So it's true to Batman, like having a plan to get rid of them all in case they all got succumbed to mind control or just turned into assholes. He has a way to get rid of Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, the Green Lantern. He's got a way for Martian Manhunter, all of them. Right.
Which, by the way, that one does have all the voices back.
Yes, it does,
and adds Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I like that.
And I enjoyed that movie. I don't remember a whole lot about the ending, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and
as the listeners can imagine it, they all escape it and they defeat the people who actually are behind the attack.
Right.
At the end, they vote, like, should we keep Batman in the Justice League? We all feel betrayed. And he's like, you guys can go fuck yourselves. I'd do it again if I had the chance, and I'm not sorry. And if you all have a problem with that, then maybe I don't belong on the team anyways. And I was like, yes, like that's what Batman would do. He doesn't give a shit about your approval.
Right, exactly.
So
that's exactly right. And I thought it was very true to all the characters, and Batman's plans were generally pretty smart and well thought out.
Yeah. The only problem I have with it is he does not account for Cyborg, which is, I get it. Like, the plans don't account for him. That's why Cyborg is able to, like, help and kind of get everyone out of their, help Batman get everyone out of their predicaments.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, I feel like as soon as Cyborg joined the team, Bruce would have started at least a rough plan.
I don't think Cyborg was a part of the team in that, was he? He was just helping out.
I guess he wasn't. He was just around.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
In the New 52, Cyborg is a part of the Justice League, and it looks like maybe he'll be a part of the Justice League in the film verse as well.
Right.
We've seen casting calls for someone that suits Cyborg.
There's a lot to do with him, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like Cyborg. I do think he's better as a part of the Teen Titans than he is as the Justice League. That's just me. But yeah, of those two movies, Justice League Doom is the better movie. Not just because the cast is so much better, but also just I feel like the story is more solid, and All-Star Superman has a few good moments. Don't get me wrong, but it plays back to the Silver Age Superman, which is a little more fantastic than I prefer. So maybe that's why. But yeah, no, yes, good choices.
Thank you. I watched The World's End after hearing you recommend it, Dustin, and I had a nifty little thing happen where I ended up getting a free download for it, so now I own it. That's pretty cool. I thought it was okay for most of it. I really did like the ending, but for most of it, I was just kind of like, "What's going on?" Bar hopping, all his friends hate him because he was such a shitty person to them.
Yeah,
and, It was always watchable, and I think that has a lot to do with just the way Edgar Wright likes to shoot and direct, and which all I could think of was like Ant-Man's gonna be full of this kind of stuff, and it'll make it, really, really super watchable. So I give it an overall positive review. I would have enjoyed it more if his films were my niche. But I think it really did satisfy the people who were going out to see it. I saw Pacific Rim.
Oh, okay.
Because no one recommended it to me. Everyone I talked to who saw it said you should skip it, but I watched it just because I couldn't stand not watching a movie with a giant robot just to see. And it was really boring.
Yes. Oh, thank God you said that. Yes.
It was boring. I mean, the kaiju sequences were kind of cool, but it was another movie. It's like the first time I saw Transformers. All I could think about was how long it would take to clean up everything that got destroyed, which is a symbol that I didn't care about what was actually happening on screen.
Yeah.
Another Charlie Hunnam, smokily speaking his lines, not really projecting at all because he can't contain his British accent.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, just a letdown. Because when we saw those trailers, we were all like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the effects were cool, and like I said, the action sequences were cool, but that's one of those where when I was younger, I would have rented it, and I would have recorded the action sequence. I would have played it through a DVD and then recorded all the action sequences onto the VHS, and then returned it, and then just watched the action sequences.
Yeah.
With no context.
See, for me, like I was bored through all of it. At this point, I've forgotten most of it, and it's just like, what was the point? Like, who cares about any of this? Like, you've created this world, and you're like, yeah, exactly. You've created this world, and it's like, oh, there's monsters and giant robots. So, by default, that should be at least interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not at all. It's like, at various points it's visually entertaining, but like, I couldn't care less by the end of that movie. It was just like, oh, now you have to go down to the hole and now you have to do some stuff down there. Okay, cool. Why didn't anyone think of this a long time ago?
And the last movie I saw was Star Trek Into Darkness. After you and John were talking about it, and it was you both overall, I think, signed off on it, but there were some polarizing thoughts about it.
Yeah.
I think I came out more on John's side. I actually really liked it. Like when we all talked about it, I was skeptical of seeing it because I knew certain details about it, and I just heard that it was kind of a letdown. And I watched it, and I don't think I liked it as much as the first Star Trek when it came out.
Yeah.
But I really was surprised that I liked it as much as I did. I agree with you that there was a perfect opportunity for Kirk and Khan to work together and sort of change their destinies, as it were, that way. I think that would have been a perfect use of the alternate timeline. But I liked the action sequences. I liked the characters just fine. Again, Anton Yelchin and what's his name, Harold. Was it John?
John Cho.
John Cho. I almost said John Chu. The two of them must have been on set for like a day and a half because I don't see them for almost the whole movie.
Right.
There's stuff to do with these characters. It's evidenced in the original show. Like, you can do things with them. They can be pivotal.
Right.
It was still pretty fun to watch, and I really liked Benedict Cumberbatch. So I did like it overall. It does keep me engaged with the new franchise, but I agree that there was a missed opportunity, because for half the movie they are working together, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, I hate you, by the way, in case you didn't realize it. And it's like, he could have just remained like someone who felt betrayed by the Federation, and just kind of wanted what he wanted for his people. Yeah. Instead, it's like, no, now I have this ulterior motive. It's like, having an ulterior motive is not always good writing. Sometimes it's bad writing because it's kind of predictable. Because everyone in the audience is just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Why don't you just never drop the other shoe? You know what that's called? Tension. Yeah. Because then you're like, oh, he's going to betray him at any minute. And then when he actually is redeeming, it's like, oh, and then that's a feel-good moment. And then everyone who's seen The Wrath of Khan is like, oh, this didn't happen in the original. And then the writers are sitting there going, yeah, I know. It's called We're Smart. Instead,
it's a new movie, yeah.
Yeah, and instead they just kind of, they're sticking too close to it, and,
I'll tell you this. I've soured on that movie. And I hate to say it, but if I put it in, or if it's on or whatever, I'll watch it, and I don't have a problem with it, and I enjoy it. But the ideas of it, like when I think about it right now, and I'm thinking about what that movie is, I hate a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird thing, because it's one of the only movies that's like that, where I can put it in and watch it and enjoy it, but when I think about it, I hate it.
Yeah.
And the reason, it has nothing to do with what I would rather have happened, like Khan being good. Yeah, that probably plays a small part of it, but that's really, a tiny bit of it. To me, it's pretty much everything that's wrong with the modern blockbuster. And I can't help but view it that way and say, okay, we've got this, cop out at the end. We've got, it's copying moments for nostalgic benefit. It's, it's overly complicating issues to seem smart, but it's not really doing anything. There's plot hole after plot hole. It's purposely manipulating the audience into thinking a character is one thing when he's actually another thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's, to me, everything that's wrong with the modern blockbuster. On the other hand, when I put it in, I find myself enjoying it for the most part. There's a couple things that still bothers me when I watch it, but for the most part, I enjoy it, and I do enjoy the end and where it ends with their 5-year mission, and going forward, it's an exciting prospect. Having said that, though, I do still look at it and say, I kind of hate it. I kind of hate what it is. So I don't even know. Like, if you ask me, like, you could ask me tomorrow, do you like the movie? And I'll be like, oh yeah. And then you ask me the next day and be like, do you like the movie? And I'll be like, no. And then you ask me the next day and it's like, yeah. So it's weird.
It's really plaguing your psyche, Dustin.
It is. It's this movie is like a plague to me.
It's a bard in your brush.
It is. A
Well,
bustle in my hedgerow.
I think we each have a retro review.
We do.
For this episode. So why don't you go first? What old movie did you see?
I saw Bonnie and Clyde for the first time.
Ah.
It originally came out in 1967, so it's quite old, but
Yes.
I've never seen it. And I enjoyed the crap out of it. Like, this movie was probably, if you're talking the 1960s and you're talking, Hollywood, this may have been one of the most important movies that came out in the 60s. It's because of this that we got The Godfather. This is the movie that made it okay to sympathize with gangsters. This is the movie that made it okay to feel for them. And so not only does it have like a cool soundtrack and really cool performances, I mean, these people, they never, to me, read as actors. They read as like real people with chemistry and like charisma. They all are charming to watch, and there's never a moment when you're like, I hate you. Stop. Or there's never a moment when you're like, I can see through this. This is an actor. And in other words, having studied film, you start to see the seams of movies. And you start to see it like, I'm sure a lot of people go to the movies and they kind of turn their brain off and just enjoy it. But for me, I can't do that. And I'm always seeing the seams of the movies and saying, okay, the camera movement, or where's the light coming from? And I'm always seeing these things. And this is one of the rare movies where I do lose myself in it. And while I begin with that, I lose it. And I become so invested in the movie that I'm no longer thinking, how did this get made? And I'm instead just enjoying the ride. So we've got Warren Beatty, we've got Faye Dunaway, we've got Gene Hackman and Gene Wilder, and it's just a really good movie, and everyone seems to be having so much fun making this movie. And they take moments to like interrupt the action with drama, and the characters all have layers, and just like they should, the protagonist, if we're looking at Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie has issues. Very obviously, she is messed up from the get-go. And Clyde, on the other hand, like, he too is messed up, but maybe not as messed up as she is, but he's got these things that you wouldn't necessarily give to a protagonist and say, like, okay, you know, I don't want to spoil it because it actually is really cool to watch it unfold, but these characters have things about them that you wouldn't expect, and to me it's just a fun ride. And honestly, if you haven't seen Bonnie and Clyde, go see it, because, like, go buy it, go rent it, whatever you have to do. I ended up buying it. I found it. I found like a DVD like collector's set at FYE for $5, and I was like, you know what? I've never seen this, and this box is really cool, so I'm gonna buy it and put it on my shelf. And it was worth it. Like, just go find it, go spend the money, buy it, rent it, whatever. It really is a really good movie, and it's just fun to watch, regardless of anything else. It's fun. So,
nice.
There's my Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, my dad's been getting on me for a while to see that movie.
It's really good.
Oh, that's good. Well, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I saw Cape Fear.
Which one?
Well, that's the thing. I had no idea that Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear was a remake of some other, Cape Fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I saw Scorsese when Robert De Niro.
Okay.
I don't have the years in front of me. Like, the first one was in like the 50s or something.
Yeah.
Or the 70s. I don't know. It was older.
Yeah. It was like the 60s, I think.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. And it had like Burt Lancaster and or someone like that.
That's Gregory Peck.
Okay, Gregory Peck, yeah, not Burt Lancaster. Sorry I'm not facing the mic. I'm trying to get this pacifier in. So this one was in like 1990 or 1991. So it's kind of at the tail end of Robert De Niro being kind of young and in shape,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the very beginning of him being like distinguished and like really good. I wasn't digging his southern accent for the whole thing, though. It's distracting. I'd rather him just be Italian and everything, because it's sort of like, it's kind of like when they just sort of, who's another example of that? Some actors are just way better when you let them be their native accent and they can focus on acting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they ever made Jason Statham be American in a movie, but I feel like it would have the same effect.
Sure.
I know I like, oh God, who's an example? I had it at the top of my head. Anyway, here's a worse example. Sam Worthington is way easier to watch when you just let him speak in his native accent. Right. Because he's not spending 70% of his energy trying to sound like he's not from Australia. Then he can spend 100% of his energy acting, and 100% of him acting is better than 30%.
Yeah, but 100% of him acting is still worse than a lot of people.
That's true, but yeah. So De Niro and accents never are kind of off-putting to me, because I'm just like, I know you're not from the South.
Right.
Anyway, it's basically about this this lawyer played by Nick Nolte and his his family, and someone he put away for like statutory rape or just straight up rape. Either way, he's a rapist, sure. And Robert De Niro, and he gets out of he gets out of prison. I think he was away for like 14, 15 years, and he basically while he's been in prison though, he got in prison in the first place because Nick Nolte's character is not like a bad person. Like, in fact, in most of the movie, they set him up to be a very moral man. Mm-hmm. But this is kind of like his past coming back to haunt him, because he basically was Robert De Niro's defense lawyer, and he sort of, I don't think he screwed him over that much, but he sort of just sped up the process of him getting convicted, because maybe he just thought this guy did it, and why drag this out? I don't know. It seemed like it wasn't for... It's always bad to do that to somebody, but it didn't seem like completely unethical.
Sure.
But enough to where it would piss me off. So Robert De Niro was like illiterate at the time, and he didn't know anything, so he just sort of was unable to really prevent it. So while he's in prison, he like reads up on law and like learns how to read and does a lot of dips, and gets all jacked and stuff. So he comes out and he just kind of stalks Nick Nolte and his family. He has like weird sexual talks with his daughter Juliette Lewis, and Juliette Lewis is like, oh, okay. She's like all like cool with it, and stuff, and it pretty much culminates to, you know, it escalates a little bit, and it was, I don't know, again, like it was just kind of boring.
Oh, okay.
If I'm being honest, like it wasn't a bad movie. It's just one of those things where it's like maybe the pacing got lost in over the years.
Sure.
I'm sure at the time it was riveting.
Right, right.
So it's not bad. It's just like I was told by John mostly to see Cape Fear. So now I have. It was one of those, I just watched it to knock it off my list.
Yeah.
So you could probably skip it. There's not that much. There's no quotable lines through it. Just Nick Nolte sounding less like, you know, like a muffler, you know.
Right.
So that's about
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any film news, Dustin?
There's a little bit. We can kind of pick and choose from this list here.
Okay. Well, you. Uh-oh. Okay. Good.
Well, let me start with a little bit of a like all aboard the hype train here.
Okay.
Cartoon Network has ordered, I believe, 52 episodes of a new show called Sonic Boom, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, and so that has me excited. I'm a huge Sonic fan. You can go visit my Tumblr for a full reaction to this news, but we've seen a trailer for it. It looks really cool. They've redesigned the characters, so it's a little weird to me, having, you know, grown up with the way that they look.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a redesign when Sega changed over to the Dreamcast and Sonic went into 3D. They redesigned him a little bit, made him a little sleeker, kind of aged him a little bit. It looks like they've kind of done that again, but it looks a little weird to me now. I don't know, for whatever reason. But anyway, if you can get past the character design, I think this is a show that's going to be really, really good for children. And, you know, it's a comedic adventure, like action adventure series. So there's a little more comedy than there typically is. And, you know, I prefer Sonic a little more serious, maybe. I don't know. But it may not be exactly what I'm accustomed to, but I think it's really going to go over well with kids, or I think it has the potential to. And, you know, obviously I haven't seen any of this apart from the trailer, so I don't know. It could suck. It could be terrible. But for right now, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that when it premieres, which I'm not sure exactly when it's going to premiere. I think June. I'm not 100% sure. I'll update you guys when it gets closer to the time. But if you're in the least bit interested in good, you know, like action adventure shows, this may be one to check out. So there you go. And it has the video game voices, which is the first time that there's been continuity between the voice of Sonic in the games and also the television series.
Wow.
So this is pretty cool, and there you go.
That's pretty sweet.
So, hype train is disengaged. What do you say when you get off trains? Never been on a train.
You vomit.
You vomit.
Yeah.
Because when you get on a train, it's all aboard.
Uh-huh.
But what is it when you get off?
Everybody leave.
Disembark. My vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do.
I'm not sure. We should do some research. Get the interns on that.
Yeah. Hey, Arnold. Yes, Mr. Weldon.
Oh, yeah?
Find out what they say when you get off a train. Okay.
All right. I'll pick another one.
Okay.
That Godzilla trailer.
That Godzilla trailer.
That was pretty sweet.
It was.
Bryan Cranston looking distressed and kind of crying a little bit.
I know. Giving us a monologue.
Yeah, I like that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Godzilla's fucking huge.
Dude, he's crazy big.
He is gigantic.
Which is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I can see where people would have a problem with that, but for me, seems awesome. And I like that the trailer is like strategic about showing Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and you get the iconic roar, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for it, man. It looks like they've built a pretty good story around it, as far as like where Godzilla comes from, and worked in some real world events, which is always fun to see. Like, oh, when this happened in our real world, we know that event. This is what was really happening, and it's like monsters, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that, and so I like stuff like that. So I'm, you know what? Let's all board the hype train again.
Yeah.
Woo woo. We need a theme song for the hype train.
Yeah, we need to have we need to get some drops up in here.
We do.
I wonder
all aboard the hype train.
I wonder if there's an app where you can just have drops and then just upload like an MP3. Because if that's true, I can just have the iPad out here and push buttons.
Go. Right.
Damn, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty excited for this. I don't know if I'll end up seeing it in theaters, but I definitely want to see it.
Yeah.
Is the Godzilla roar? Where's that come from? The iconic roar. Like, where does it originate?
It originates from the very first Godzilla picture.
Okay, I was wondering why they were using the same one as the one that everyone hates, but now I know.
Yeah, it's just the original.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
There you go.
What else you got, Dustin?
So I want to talk a little bit about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Because I feel like last time I had just found out the news, and I feel like I didn't give it a fair shake. So I just want to say that for those of you who listened to the last one and heard me like rant and rave about how this is going to suck, let me rephrase this. Jesse Eisenberg is probably he's pretty much not capable of playing the Lex Luthor that I have in my mind. He just doesn't look the part. But like Heath Ledger's Joker, while he doesn't look the part, he will probably play, and he has the acting chops to play a great version of Lex Luthor for this film. It may not be my ideal, just like Heath Ledger's Joker is not my ideal Joker. Christian Bale's Batman is not my ideal Batman. But they're perfect for the movie that they're in, and I'm sure Jesse Eisenberg will be the same way. I'm sure it'll be a great Lex Luthor. It just may not be exactly what has been in my mind since I was a wee little boy. So
okay.
There's my caveat for that. Little asterisks.
Yeah.
And then here's the fine print.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open-minded about it. I feel like there's just some big hurdles for me, and
sure.
Again, there's our Lex Luthor versus kind of theirs, but I feel like ours is more in line with what is in the public zeitgeist and what's been portrayed for decades, and changing it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you kind of have to make him, as long as he still remains like super smart and threatening, and not because he has people on his side, but because he's just maniacally intelligent, then that's fine. I could get past him not being a physical threat, because he's just going to get in a mech or whatever, most likely, so whatever. But if the ideal man is a spindly bald kid, then is he really the ideal? I'm the ideal man. I just don't want to lift any weights.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Funny or Die has a good video where it's like a dude doing a Jesse Eisenberg impression. He doesn't look anything like him, but it's like his voice. So if you just like minimized it and just listened to his voice, like as he auditions for Lex Luthor, you can almost believe that it's actually Jesse Eisenberg's audition for Lex Luthor.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go.
All right. What you got? What else you got?
They're remaking The Birds, which is going to suck.
What?
Yeah, I don't really like The Birds anyway, but it's because there's not really a story there.
No, there isn't. So
but they're remaking it, and I don't believe that you should ever remake a Hitchcock movie. Ever. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from Gus Van Sant's Psycho, but we didn't. Although Bates Motel is pretty good. I'll give you that one. But that's not really a remake.
If they can make like a great story, like there is, I guess that is an artistic window to remake it, because it's like the first one's just kind of gimmicky, and there's not really a great story around it. What if we could make a better context for this event happening?
Yeah.
And so, if you can, I guess have at it, but once again, you're...
See, for me, when it comes to stuff like that, like thrillers or horror movies or whatever, which I guess that's considered a horror movie, even though it's not really scary at all.
Yeah.
It to me, it's sort of like science fiction. Like, it should have some sort of reference to real life, like, issues. So when you look at something like Jaws, you could say that the shark is the unknown or whatever that is out there. And so you can kind of say, like, yeah, that may be a little thin, but it helps it stand up a little bit better and have more depth to the villain, right? You could say, or I guess it's pretty much obvious, that the aliens in Alien they're a metaphor for rape. They're a metaphor for, like, sexual predators. So that to me makes the alien the scariest movie monster ever. Or even if you're talking about Godzilla, Godzilla was originally created to be a metaphor for the atomic bombs that hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So we're referencing. That's why Godzilla breathes fire. That's why he destroys everything. It's a metaphor. But what are the birds metaphors for? They're just birds. Like, they're not even capable of really hurting you. They just, like, scratch you.
Yeah.
What, are they killing me somehow? I guess if they all get on my windshield, and then maybe I would drive off a cliff. But that's stupid. What are they going to do? Peck the windshield, and then, like, little beaks come through the windshield, come through the glass? I could just, like, pound on the glass, and they'd fly away.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're scared of birds. Sorry, John. I just realized. I apologize.
Your stupid fear is invalidated.
It's a real phobia. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. By the way, what you mentioned, that should be an actual movie, Aliens versus Sexual Predators.
That should be a movie. That should totally be a movie.
I bet the sexual predators would win. Like, who can do more probing?
I don't know, man. Those aliens, they're ruthless.
Get over here. No, you get over here. Oh, God, no. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Henry.
All right. Grab one more, Dustin.
Well, let's talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Oh, yes.
Did you see this?
I have, and I have that damn song stuck in my head. Like, I walk into my kitchen, I'm just going, oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Making some breakfast.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm making my breakfast.
You can't rhyme breakfast with breakfast.
Yeah.
What are you, Miley Cyrus?
I'm heading to Belfast.
There you go. Kinda.
Not Belfast, Ireland. Belfast. There's a great bell festival in Mobile.
I'm sure there is.
You just look at bells, ring them.
Yes.
Triangle
there
bells. Room service bells.
The Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell is there. They bring it down
Doorbells.
from Philadelphia down to the Bell Festival. It's a really big deal locally.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bell Sprout. Bell Sprout.
Bell Sprout.
Bell Sprout.
Yeah, it was a cool trailer. I still don't know that I care about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, bravo for the marketing department, but still, it's amusing. But it's a good trailer. But I'm still like, okay, well, I know who they are now, but I'm still sort of like, I don't really care.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm only interested in you being on screen with the Avengers, who I do know and like.
Right. True.
So,
well, for me, it's like I'm in the exact same boat you are. I'm not sure, but I do know this. I like Chris Pratt a whole heck of a lot, and I'm super excited for his career taking off, and I think he's really good, both comedically and dramatically, and he's just got charisma. So I feel like we will, like, if the movie sucks, we will probably still come out of the theater saying he's good. And if he shows up in Avengers, he will fit in, and he will be a good addition.
Yeah.
Now, whether the rest of the film is any good or not, I don't know. But I feel like we'll be satisfied with Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
So.
he does seem to really fit. I mean, he'll fit into the Avengers, and he does seem to, like, he doesn't feel out of place in the role, you know.
Right.
He feels, you know, he's a good fit.
And he's just such a genuine guy. Like,
Yeah.
like if you ever look at him on Twitter or like in an interview or something, he just seems like a person.
Yeah, he's a normal dude.
Yeah, not like, you know, I don't know. He just seems like a dude.
I like the fact that at least the trailer sets him up to be sort of like the guy who wishes he was Han Solo.
Right, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
he's just like, you know, he's like, I'm Star-Lord. And they're like, I don't know who you are. And he's like,
Are
really?
you serious? Yeah.
Like, I thought I'd built up quite a rep. Like,
Yeah.
Nope, nobody's heard of you.
Yep.
More people know my name, the actor Digimon Hanzu, than know you, Star-Lord.
Yes.
And even more people know how to pronounce it correctly, and
There
Hooper is
you go.
not one of those people.
Yes.
I just guessed. His name's Digimon.
Digimon. There you go. But yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see with that one. I mean,
I'm so confused. Like, I don't know whether that's going to succeed or whether it's going to flop. Like,
I
big
feel like it's
time.
gonna. Here's my prediction. I think it's gonna flop ass.
You think so?
Well, because of all the directors who are everyone who they're pulling in to direct these Marvel movies, like even Edgar Wright. You know, people respond. Like, Edgar Wright has a big following, and
Sure.
it's mixed his following with the Marvel people. Who the hell knows who James Gunn is?
Yeah.
The most commercial movie he's made
Is what,
was
Slither or Super?
Slither or Super, yeah.
Both of which were not very commercial at all.
The cast is not that recognizable, so the market. Okay, the biggest draw for this movie is Marvel fans, obviously.
Right.
But like then you trickle in a small group of people who follow James Gunn's work no matter what, and a small group of people who like Parks and Rec and recognize Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But no one knows that's Zoe Saldana, and you know everyone else is a voice or a CG creation or some random dude who's in shape playing Drax the Destroyer.
I think that's Batista from WWE.
Oh, okay.
And then, but yeah, again, no one's gonna go see him.
So, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't think, I'm not saying I think it'll be bad. I just don't know. It's not going to, you know, what the hell do I know? But if I'm just my guess, here's my prediction. I just don't think it's going to do well.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know.
I think what you mentioned is true because, yeah, it's got the Marvel name on it, so that'll probably bring some people in.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
But but as far as like, you know, you mentioned like James Gunn followers, those people are probably Marvel followers as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to be two separate groups of people.
Yeah, crossing people together. I mean,
like,
I don't know. Captain America is a recognizable brand. The Incredible Hulk sells itself. You know, Iron Man was a pretty tough sell. And Robert Downey Jr., that was sort of a freak accident, that movie being good. But then...
But even still, it had Jon Favreau directing.
Yeah, like people, that was still enough of like, and it was small. And then that trailer sold everybody.
Right.
And then Thor, even people who didn't know the comics recognize the name Thor. They've heard of it referenced at some point. Like,
plus, it has Anthony Hopkins and Kenneth Branagh directing, and Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings, and
yeah.
So,
but James Gunn, like, I don't know.
Plus, Thor had a very obvious connection to Iron Man and what had been established. This is so far out in left field
Yeah. It's too far into space. They should have saved this for Phase 3.
I feel like most people probably won't know that it's going to connect to the Avengers.
Like, it should have been... I realize they can't just do this because of Fox, but they should have extended... Like, Phase 2 should have had more to do with, like, the Fantastic Four and Galactus.
Sure.
You know, just sort of go out a little bit into space before you just straight up go into the universe.
Yeah.
And tie these people back in with the Avengers. Like,
Right.
Okay, so the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're going to go a bunch of places. Why would they go to Earth?
Right.
Like, expand out. Like, I always hate in movies where there's like a billion planets and they always go back to Earth. It's like, really?
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's true. And it just looks so weird. Like, the little bit that we've seen of it, like, from Thor.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you have the end credits of Thor, and Benicio del Toro shows up. And I just remember seeing that in the theater, and everyone's general reaction was, like, confusion.
Yeah.
It wasn't like at least most of these Marvel movies, like, when there's an end credits thing, it's like, oh, snap, like, yeah, awesome. But with this, it was just so like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why? And yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It just but it could be another freak accident, and you know, I don't know. It's so weird. It'll be interesting though if it flops to see if Marvel changes their tune about whether it does tie in with the Avengers.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that could be the one that just like they talk about years from now. Like, they just sort of retconned that and just slept that one under the rug. You know, who knows?
And I also think that Marvel kind of needs a flop. And
yeah.
And I hate to say that because you hate to wish failure on any of these things, but Marvel needs a flop because they're running the risk of all of them being the same. I mean, we've seen Thor, which was good, and Thor 2, which just kind of like tried to rest on the shoulders of Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
And then we've seen Captain America, and who knows about Captain America 2? It could be quite good. But as far as I'm concerned, the two Iron Man movies that came after the first one didn't match up to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like obviously that second one for me was the low point. But story wise, Iron Man 2 and 3 were beneath Iron Man 1 for me. So my concern is that they're going to get lazy in producing these films, and if they have a flop, then they'll be forced to focus on, you know, what made them work in the first place.
Right.
And so that's the only reason that I say they need a flop. On the other hand, I like Chris Pratt, and I'd hate to say I hope this flops, because that could really, really hurt him. And, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But again, I don't think Benicio del Toro is a big enough name to bring people in. I mean, people know him, but I don't think anybody really follows him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because, I mean, did the Wolfman do gangbusters business? No.
Only in Stupid World.
Yeah. Stupid World, yeah. I remember you and John went to see that. I didn't go with you guys, but
I don't know why we went, but
I saw it on DVD later. But you know,
yeah,
and so I don't know. I don't think he's a big enough name. I don't think anybody really is. I mean, even Zoe Saldana, I don't know that people would really go out of their way to see a Zoe Saldana movie.
No,
I guess the biggest one would be Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, but even that's like just sort of like if you know the internet, you know it's him, but the general public has no idea it's him.
I bet they'll market him pretty heavily.
Yeah,
when we get closer,
we need to.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. We'll keep our eye open on that. Our eye out on that one.
All right. Well, that's kind of all the time we got for this installment of the HooperCast.
Yeah, we've gone a little.
Some
long.
quick housekeeping. The PayPal link is not up yet. I'm trying to work my way into understanding that and making sure I know how it works before I just throw up a link to it. But as soon as it is up, you can donate to us through that link. Just leave us a virtual tip, and just sort of helps us. It helps keep me and Dustin motivated. It keeps us on the right track. And it just helps us with little things like whether it's getting some new equipment or, just having it there to allocate in some way that benefits the show. If, Dustin's mic doesn't get fixed, we're going to have to do something about that.
Right.
So that's what we would use that money for. So it's not going, up my nose or, buying Dustin some Moe's. That wasn't supposed to rhyme.
But now that you mention it, Moe's sounds delicious.
Yeah, if we were going to misappropriate your funds, good listeners, you should know that it would be because we're buying Moe's. So
Not drugs.
Not drugs. Just Moe's.
Funkmeisters.
Funkmeisters. And
and Home Wreckers.
Home Wreckers. Joey Bag of Donuts.
Art Vandalays.
Yeah, that's crazy. Donate if you can, whenever you can, as often as you can. If you do donate, we'll shout out. We'll give you a shout out, and we just overall really appreciate it. We appreciate you all listening and being faithful audience. Yay. And we're gonna keep working to make the show better and better for you to listen to, easier for you to access, and this sounds self-deprecating, but more worth your time.
Yes.
So yeah, just rest easy knowing that Dustin and I care about the quality of the show we put out, and we're not just half-assing it.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right, Dustin. Well, it was good talking to you.
You too, Hooper.
I will tease something. It's my rule to not tease the next episode, but I know that because I know what I'm going to do after we stop recording. Next time we record, I will review Don John because I rented it from the library for the second time, and if I don't watch it this time, I've wasted my money. So I need to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch that. So you can look forward to me having thoughts on that film.
Hooray!
All right. Well, until then, I'm Mr. Hooper,
and I'm not.
That's right.
I'm not at all. Why am I not? Why am I not, Mr. Hooper?
You just weren't born a Hooper, Dustin.
I could have a cast. I could have my own cast.
We shouldn't divide our forces, Dustin. We stick together.
This is true.
Just me discouraging you to
live together,
out.
Die alone.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, they really did do that, didn't they? On Lost.
They really did. They really did.
Oh God.
They killed my soul.
You know when in that part when Jack says to Locke, or he says to the black man, the man in black. Not the black man.
I start thinking Echo? Are you talking about Mr. Echo? I don't remember this.
The man in black. You're just going through the list of all the African
American
actors.
I was thinking which conversation could this be?
It was Harold Perrineau, and then there's
yeah, Michael and Walt
Adewale, and then when
he's on the island. On the island.
You gotta go back to the island.
Oh, why is that so funny to me?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's talking. He's talking to the man in black, and he's like, you're nothing like John Locke, because he's using John Locke's body, and he's like, you're nothing like him, or whatever, and you sully his memory by using his form. And the first time I'm thinking that's kind of what the show did. You look like Lost, but you're nothing like it, and you sully its memory by presenting yourself as the show I used to love.
Right. And
it's just sort of that's a weird poetic look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Unintentional on their part, of course, but
yeah.
Yeah,
they're not smart enough to do that on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Well, tune in next time, and goodbye.
Same hoop time, same hoop channel.
Oh,